What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. It's your boy Thick Whip. Today we are installing the B58 charge pipe on my BMW A90 Mark V Supra, supplied to us by Keys Motorsports. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Now, you guys saw recently that we installed the AMS carbon fiber intake, which I absolutely love. It is gorgeous, it sounds perfect. So next up on the list for performance, well, not so much performance, more preventative maintenance, is the B58 charge pipe made by FTP Motorsports. Now, you can get this charge pipe, I've seen them in like red as well. Didn't want to do that. I'm more of a black and white kind of person when it comes to the engine bays. Just how I like to do things. I keep it simple. So we went with the black B58 charge pipe by FTP Motorsports. Thank you so much, Keys Motorsports, for sending this out. If you guys are interested in this charge pipe, I will have it linked down below. I ran this same charge pipe on my N55 and also on my F30. Fantastic company. They do really good work. And from what I can tell, this is gonna be a much easier install than it was on the N55. The N55, we had to go underneath the car and then snake it out from the top of the throttle body. It was a lot more compact, tighter fit. And from what I saw when I did the intake, this is gonna be a lot easier. We are gonna have to go ahead and remove the intake. If you guys are curious on how to remove the intake, I'll leave a link down to a video down below that'll show you how to remove the stock intake on the B58 or the AMS intake. It's really, really easy. It's literally just a couple of grommets and a couple of clamps and you have the thing out. You're gonna have to unplug a few sensors and stuff, but very simple. So as far as the way that I'm gonna tackle this in this video, we're gonna go ahead and remove this, literally just a couple of grommets, unplug this sensor here. I do have a vacuum line down here that I have to remove, and then a couple of clamps on the turbo inlet that we'll remove. We'll take this entire intake back out. Shouldn't take me longer than 2-3 minutes to do that. And then we'll hop over to this side and attack the charge pipe. I'm gonna remove the engine cover. We have a couple of sensors we need to unplug, and then it's a matter of just removing these T30 Torx and the C clamps down below. Now, do I think that the charge pipe is going to add horsepower? Probably not. But we are going to be turning up the boost when we tune this car, you guys. From what I understand, these charge pipes, I know for sure on the other models like the N20s and the M55s, these charge pipes, plastic, super prone to cracking. I think it's the same deal with the B58s. I think the B58s are better, they're a little more durable, but still, nonetheless, if you are increasing your boost, it's wise to go ahead and do a charge pipe. In addition to the preventative maintenance, you also have a couple of bungs here. I guess you could call them bungs. And what you could do with these is you could have like a boost gauge tapped in, you could have nitrous, methanol injection. Really nice that FTP has these right here readily available for anyone interested in doing that. We also have the instructions here, a couple of clamps, silicone tubing to tie these two pieces together, and then obviously your clip. We are gonna be using a rubber seal off of our stock charge pipe. It's gonna go onto here to make sure it's nice and snug and fitting. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the intake and then we'll get into the charge pipe portion of this install. Probably should have waited until the car was not warm, but either way, here we are. We got our inlet right there, and then that is the charge pipe down there. On the charge pipe, you're going to see a clip right here, and it's just basically a C-clamp, C-clip. You just pop that up, and then the entire thing will come off. And then you go ahead and pull the charge pipe out. You have this super random clamp right here that's clamped to nothing. That's actually for a different model, probably like the M340 or something. It's for a different model car. Obviously the Supra doesn't use it, but they just use the same engine in a lot of different cars. Could just be like for the 340 or something like that. Discard it, we don't need it, we don't need to worry about it. Coming up to the top of the charge pipe, we have two T30s we're gonna remove, and then we have these little clips. You have one right here on top. To undo these clips, it's really easy. Stick a flathead in there, pop up, just like that. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. And then the way to actually pull the clips apart, push down on the clear plastic and pull. It should come right out. Same thing with this one. Comes right out. And so that's the only two plugs you should have to deal with. Just remember, you are plugging those back in. We'll go ahead and remove the two T30s. That angle wasn't the best on the drill, on the impact, so we'll just use a wrench for this bottom one. Let's go ahead and attack that C-clip. One beautiful thing about working on the B58 that I'm learning is that everything is very, very accessible. Once you remove the intake, pretty much everything is right there. So you get your turbo and your manifold and everything up here. It's really, really nice. So to pop out that C-clip, you have a couple of spots where the clip kind of rises up. You're just gonna stick a flathead in there, twist it, and pop it out. All right, so you can see it is disengaged. I don't know if it's completely disengaged. Let's see if we can pull it out with our hands here. Oh, yep. There it is right there. That's what it looks like. You're just prying on one of these little sides and pop it off. So now the entire charge pipe should be free. You're gonna have to wrestle it out of here. It's not too bad. Just gonna have to avoid some of these hoses. So if you saw that, it's all about the twisting. You start out like this, and then you're slowly twisting it like that, and it came out like this. Just gotta watch out for this guy. It's kind of in the way of everything. All right, so we have to move all this stuff over to our new charge pipe. You're gonna see a couple of things here. Do not reuse this screw. It's different than this. Use the one that is supplied. And then this guy just comes off by unscrewing it like that. So just unscrew that, screw that back into here, and we should be okay. All right, got that all assembled. If you look at the top of your stock charge pipe, you're gonna see this little rubber seal, and we do need to transfer that rubber seal onto our new FTP charge pipe. So you can see the groove where it sits in. Just be really careful taking it off. Don't use like a knife or anything. Use like a flathead screwdriver. Slowly just wedge it and pop it over, throw it on the new one. All right, so to give you guys a good idea of orientation, obviously set your old charge pipe up in front of you, and then go ahead and start assembling the new one as close as you possibly can to the same shape as the old one. You're gonna use this silicone tube for in between here, these two clamps. Now don't tighten those down. Keep them loose, but on there so they don't fall off while you're installing it. The reason you want to keep them loose is because when you're installing, you might need to move some things around. But we're just going to go ahead and keep them relatively loose so they don't fall off while we're installing it. I'm going to go ahead and set this up as close as possible as I can to the old charge pipe, and then we'll go ahead and throw it in the car. All right. That looks pretty close to me. I tightened down this one, but I left this one super loose. If I do need to loosen this one, it'll be fine. Something that I do want to note, you guys, anytime you are working with clamps like these and then the screw heads, you always want to make sure that you're setting yourself up to where you can access these easily. So I have mine facing up like that. That means when I install it, I'm gonna have a clear path to those screws. Just something to think about when you're working with these. As for this clip down here, you guys can see how it locks in place. I like to just pull these up a little bit until it disengages, and then I go ahead and slide it in and let it lock. You can see down here, that's where the lip is that it's gonna lock into. So that's pretty much how that C-clamp goes in. When you are installing it, you wanna make sure that you have the top of the throttle body side somewhat near the throttle body, and that will allow it to lock into place or guide it into place a lot easier. So just pay attention to both sides. You're gonna wanna put in that side first and then go ahead and put in your T30s up here. All right, so that was pretty easy. I just left the top super loose, and then I ended up twisting this around so I could access it right from the top. And this guy seated in there quite nicely. You'll feel that clip go in. Just give it a good tug, make sure it's in place. And then, obviously you have the top part right here. Just gonna connect that in all the way, and then you can go ahead and put in the T30s. After we put in the T30s, we'll go ahead and plug our 2 plugs in right here. So now I'm gonna reinstall my intake, coming out of the inlet, throw it back in the engine bay, throw the cover on, and we're good. All right, you guys. We are looking good. Throw that engine cover on, so clean. I'm loving the way that this engine bay is looking. I seem to be picking the hottest days ever to work in the garage. All right, guys, so the B58 FTP charge pipe is in. That was so easy in comparison to every other charge pipe I've ever done. That was a breeze. It looks really nice in the engine bay. This is definitely one of those modifications that you just want to do preventatively. I am going to be going all in on this car. I want to make a lot of power, and if I'm turning up the boost, that stock one's probably going to crack, so it's a good thing that we just replaced it. If you guys are interested in the FTP charge pipe for the B58, N20, N55, any of the cars, I'll have it linked down below. This doesn't necessarily add horsepower, but I will say that the stock charge pipe is very restrictive. It's got a bunch of weird bends in it. The airflow doesn't seem as good as the FTP. I also don't think it changes the sound at all, but like I said, this is definitely something you want to do if you are going to be increasing boost, which we're gonna do. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on my BMW Supra. But thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe, comment down below, like this video, hit that bell notification. Big shout out to Keys Motorsports, but just like that, we're gonna see you in the next video. Peace out.